Good morning to all my students out there and welcome to the new lecture of the business studies. So our today topic is very important and we can say we are now going to talk about the lifeblood of the business. So how can you say and to what you will say that what is the lifeblood of the business? No business can run without the finance. No business can run without the money. It is only the finance as well as you can say the money which actually give the trigger to run the business, to explore the business and also to expand its business. So it means in every step of your business proceeding you need the money or you can say the finance. So here in our today topic we are going to talk about what are the business finance, how you can raise a finance, in what are the situations you need a finance and what are the types you can with the help of that you can raise your business finance. So here we can say that our topic today is the sources of business finance. What are the ways and the sources from where you can generate your financing. So in today's chapter and the topic we are going to study about the nature and significance, the importance of the business finance. Then we are also going to discuss about the sources of business finance. One by one all the sources which are classified and there are different sources. We are going to discuss it in our lecture and also we should also discuss about that what are the different factors we should also kept in mind for selecting the right source of finance, or you can say for selecting the source of finance which is more profitable. So one by one we are going to discuss it. So with we are going to start our lecture, that is with the meaning. What do you mean by the business finance? So planning, raising, managing and controlling all the money used for the capital funds of any kind used in connection with the business. Here in with the help of this definition, with these defined words, we can say that the business finance is the planning of the money, raising, how you will raise the funds, and also managing. It's not only just to plan that how much money you needed and you are just managing that from where you can get it, but also managing the money and controlling it all is very important. Just you cannot say that the business finance means only the arrangement of finance. Like you are just arranging the finance and you are not concerned with that how you will going to use it. That is a wrong thought. The business financing means all the you can say aspect which is related to money, that how you are going to calculate the need of it and how you will get it. What are the sources you will get it, and also how you are going to dispose it at the end when your need will be catered, how you are going, what you have taken from the outside sources, how you are going to repay it back. This is all the business finance. So we can say the business finance refer to the capital funds and credit funds invested in the business. Financing means making money available when it is needed. So we can say that business finance may be defined as in a planning, raising, managing, controlling all the money and use or capital funds for any kind used in connection with the business. This is all business finance. There are different definitions also. One of it is finance is a business activity which is concerned with the acquisition and conservation of the capital fund in the meeting of financial needs and overall objective of the business enterprise. It means that how you are going to acquire the fund, how you are going to procure it and how you are going to dispose it. All it is related with the business finance. So we can say that finance is the major function of any business enterprises. It deals with the arrangement of the adequate amount of the capital to achieve the objective of the enterprise. So being a businessman, business needs lot of objective to be achieved, and without the arrangement of this enough money or the funds, you cannot get that objective. So it means for the persuasion of the business to make or run your business very smoothly, every time you need the money or the fund. So we can say that what are the nature and significance of business finance? What are the nature and its importance? So no one can start a business or run an enterprises without educate funds. Every business requires the fund. Whether you are going to start the business, whether you want to excel it, every time you need the business. So it means every business requires some money or to start with, or it is called the initial money. When you are going to start the business, that is called initial capital. The amount of capital required depend upon the nature and the size of the business. So that's also important. If your size of the business is small, ultimately you require the less capital, and wherever your business size is getting bigger, then you need a lot of money and the funds. So business enterprises requires capital and finance for the following purpose. First is that while starting the business, finance is required. It is obviously when you are going to start any kind of a business, you require the funds. Require the fund for what? For the fixed asset, for procure the fixed assets, and also meeting the day-to-day expenses. So just for the build up your business, you require the fund in every sphere, whether it is a fixed capital, whether it is a working capital, the raw material you are going to pay the wages and everywhere you require the money. So next is to meet the working capital requirement when production process is lengthy. So money is also required when you are doing the production. It is a stage where you cannot stop the process, because once it is started, it will be just a waste if you stop in between. So it means from the purchasing of the raw material to make that raw material into the processing zone, and then packaging, and there are so lot of labor are required in the factory. Everywhere you require the funds. Next, to finance the growth and expansion of the business. So once you are just done with your startup of your business, if it is giving you the profitability, then you also need to require to expand your business. For the growth and expansion, you again require the funds. That is very important, because sometimes it is the right time. On the right time, when you will take the decision for expansion, for the growth, it will be more profitable in the future. Next is educate finance provide the following benefit to the business. That to firm meet its liability on time. Then it carry on its business smoothly. Also latest technology and new innovation method of the production. Just to hire the latest, just to adopt the latest technology also. On these ways also you require the funds. Then the firm can make use of the business opportunities. Then to compete the competitor strongly, and also to replace the assets and machinery when and then it required. When you are using any asset or the machinery, with the passage of time, its value becomes zero. Its value becomes scrap. How much you are using it, and at the stipulated point of time, you also require to replace the asset or machinery. On that time, you also require the funds. The firm can face recession and depression period. On that period also, you require extraordinary funds just to tackle those problems or to face those problems. Now come to the sources of finance. Now we are moving to the sources of the business finance. But basically we have the two sources of business finance. That is the owner's fund, and the second one is the borrowed fund. Owner fund means it is with the it is the equity. It is the owner's fund. It is the own fund. And the borrowed means when the businessman or the owner actually arranging its funds from the outside sources. Like the owner fund means it refers to the fund contributed by the owner as well as just like the accumulated profit of the company. This fund remains with the company and it is no liability to return this fund. For example, the equity shares, then the retainer. These are the example of the owner's fund. So it need not to be repay back. It is its own generated money. So we have some features of owner fund. First is the source of permanent capital. So it means it is a right source, it's a good source of the permanent capital, because how much you are invested in your business with the way or when it is come back to you as in a return, you must have also having some profit. That profit you are again going to flow back the profit to again into your business. So this you can say it is a permanent source of business. You need not to be knock the door of any other person to arrange the funds. Next is the provision for the risk capital. Also it has the you can say it is a risky capital also, because every year you cannot expect the profit. Sometimes just because of the fall in the economy or a depression, or there is a situation of recession in the country, then you cannot help yourself in these kind of situation. Instead of earning good profit, you may have the losses. On this kind of situation, you have the risk just to how you will arrange it, because if you have just planned over it about your coming profit, you are just planning to reinvest it, and you are not, just because of this happening or the decrease in the economy, you will not have any enough profit, then you cannot exceed or pursue your planning. So that's why it is also called the risky capital. No security required. For your own capital, for your own fund, you need not to be give any security for the purpose of the loan, or just for raising the funds. So we can say that no security is offered against the ownership capital. Next is that is the sources of the owner's fund. The owner fund comprises the share capital, retained earning, or you can also say the accumulated profits. So next, moving to the borrowed fund. What are the borrowed fund? Borrowed fund is also the other important source of arranging the money. That means borrowed fund means that when you are arranging the fund from the outside sources, it is a way of that you are raising the funds from the bank, that's raising the loan, or you can say the debenture. These all are the example of the borrowed fund. So we can have a borrowed fund refer to the borrowings of the funds. It includes the fund available by the way of the loan or credit. It is by the way of the loans and credit. So there are also some features. First feature is fixed time. Whenever you are raising the funds from the outside sources, there is a stipulated time is given to you. In between or span of that time, you are obliged or you are liable to pay back your fund within that stipulated time. So it means there is a fixed time given to you. Next, that is a security. Whenever you are arranging the fund from the outside sources, you must have to also mortgage any of your assets. Without the your property mortgage, or without giving your property as a security, you cannot. It is very difficult to raise the loan from the outside. So that's why the security is always needed for raising the funds. Regular payment of interest. Whenever you are arranging your funds by the way of the loan. So if there is a loan, when we are talking about the loan, then here also come the mind that the principal amount, the basic amount, then the time of how much time you are taking the loan, and also until and unless you are not paying that loan, you are liable to pay the interest. So there is also, you are just a way of the rent you are just giving to that person from where you are just arranging the money. Until unless you are not giving or paying it back properly, you have to also pay the interest, which is actually the charge. It is just a liability on your head. Next is the control. The borrowed fund security holder do not get the right to control and manage the activity of the business. They have the right to sue the firm in case there is a default in the payment of interest or repayment of the loan. It means they have to have a right to sue that firm when they are not giving you or paying you back the interest money and the interest also. Loan money and the interest also. Next, the sources of the borrowed fund are, these are the debentures, loan from the commercial banks, loan from the financial institutions, then the public deposit, intercorporate deposit and trade credit. These all are the sources of your borrowed fund. Now, come to the owner fund. What are the owner fund? We are going to discuss it in detail. So, first is the issue of the shares. So issue of the share or equity share are the you can say the very important and vital sources of the owner fund, and these are also called the long term source of the finance. Okay, so shares in the share capital, we are actually floating the share in the share market, and the share is the smallest unit of the owner's capital of the company that is divided. A share is the interest of the shareholder in the company measured by the sum of the money for the purpose of liability and the interest. So we can have the share may also be defined as a unit of measures of the shareholders' interest in the company. So basically we have the two kinds of the shares, that is the equity shares and the preference shares. What is the equity shares? Now the equity share means the share in which the share capital of the company and includes stock, which include the stock. Equity share is a common security issued under the permanent or the owner's fund capital. So equity shares are most important source of raising the long-term capital. The equity shares are those shares which do not carry any special or preferential rights in the payment of annual dividend and repayment of the capital. So we can have here equity shares are the shares which do not have the preferential two basic rights. They are also called the owner of the company because they are actually entitled to have the dividend after paying to all. It means after paying to the preference shareholder, only then they will get their shares. It may be get their dividend, so it may be less or it may be more. So that's why we can say that they are the owner actually of the funds. Now, what are the features of the equity share? First, primary risk bearer. They are the primary risk bearer. If the company are having the losses, they are the direct impact will be lie on the equity shareholder, because if there is a loss, they will not get any dividend. Claim over the residual income. So the equity shareholder have claim over the leftover income of the company. They get share in the income left after satisfying the claims of all the creditors, outsiders and preference shareholder. It means we can say that at last what is residual profit? They are actually claimer of the residual profit. When you are paying to all your creditor, all the outside liability, all the preference shareholder, only then they will get their the part of the share, the part of the profit, that is called dividend. Next, that is the basis of the loan. The equity share capital is the basis on which the loan can be raised. The amount of equity share capital adds to the creditability of the company. The amount of the equity share capital increases the confidence of the creditor. How much the extent of the equity share capital is there in your capital fund, it will actually increase the credibility and the creditworthiness of the company, or you can say the firm, because that will give the good effect when you are going to raise any loan from the bank. Next is the preemptive right. The equity shareholder are given a preemptive rights by the provision of the Companies Act. According to this, whenever the company is planning to issue the new equity shares, it must offer the share to the existing share first. If existing shareholder refuses to buy the new share, only then the company shall offer the share to the outsider. So the preemptive right means it is given the preferential right. When the new share is going to be issued in the market, they will ask first to buy. Now next, that is your type of the preference shares. Now what do we mean by the preference shares? What are the preference shares? Now preference shares are those shares which get preference over the equity shareholders, equity shares in respect to. There are two basic preferences are given to the preference shareholder. What are those? First is the preference at the time of giving the dividend. When the dividend is distributed, they have a preferential right to get the dividend. They have a preferential right from the equity shareholder. They will get the dividend first, then the equity shareholder will get their dividends. Next, that is the repayment of investment among during the winding up. The second preferential right is that they will get the preference at the time of winding up of the company. Winding up of the company, they will have the preferential right to get back their shares. Now, what are the features? First is fixed rate of dividend. As the equity shareholders, the dividend is fluctuated. They may get the less dividend, they will get the more dividend, but the rate of the dividend is fixed when we are talking about the preference shareholder. No security is required. The company do not offer any security against the preference shares. The preference share capital is a part of the owner's fund capital. Voting right. What are the voting rights? The preference share do not get the voting right under the general conditions. However, the preference share get voting right if the dividend are not paid for the 2 years. It means they have only the voting right just for the you can say for the case when they are not getting the dividend from last 2 years. Next is that it is called the hybrid securities. The preference shareholder is also called the hybrid security. Hybrid means they have the property of the both. What both? That is they have the property of the some property of the equity share and also some properties are of the debentures. It is a mix of these two. That's why it is called the hybrid securities. Next is what are the different types of the preference shares? They are basically the 8 type of preference shares. First is the cumulative preference shares. Cumulative preference shares are the shares if they are not having the profit in a 1 year, but whatever the dividend they will get, it will be added in the coming years. It means if they are not getting the dividend in a 1 year, it will be cumulative for the next year. It will be add back. Next is the non-cumulative preference shares, which dividend does not get accumulated, are known as the non-cumulative preference shares. These shares get dividend only for those years when the company is earning profit on. Next, that is the participating preference shares. Participating preference shares get the right or the share in the extraordinary profit. We can say that which get the share in the surplus profit of the company, which is called participating preference shares. Non-participating is do not get the right in the surplus profit of the shares. That next is the redeemable preference shares. These are the shares which redeem or expire on the fixed period of time are known as the redeemable preference shares. These shares can be redeemed by the company after giving notice as per the term of issue. So these all are the redeemable preference shares. Next is the irredeemable. Irredeemable means which do not redeem or repay back in any kind of time, the type of time. It is only repay back after at the time of the winding up. That's all. It means the preference shares are not redeemable during the lifetime of the company, as known as irredeemable preference shares. These shares are refundable only at the time of winding up of the company. Next is the convertible preference shares. These preference shares which get converted into the equity share on the expiry of the fixed period of time are known as convertible preference shares. After converting the preference shares, they get all the right of equity shares. Non-convertible preference shares are the shares which cannot convert into the equity shares. Now come to the next, that is the retained earning. So here we are actually talking about the owner's fund. Here we have just discussed about the equity shares, then preference share. Now we are coming to the retained earning. What are the retained earnings? Retained profits are also known as the flowing back of the profit. Retained earnings, self-financing or internal financing, or reserve surplus. All these names are are actually associated for the retained earnings. You can also call them it as an employing bank. It is the internal financing, and it plays a very important role as an owner's fund. This is also the part of the owner fund, which is called the retained earning. Now, retained earning refer to the undistributed profits after payment of the dividend and taxes. It provides a basis of the expansion and the growth of the company. It is considered the most important source of the finance. Since it is internally generated, this method is financing is known as a self-financing. So we can say that this is just a very suitable form of financing itself. It means when and when you need it, you can have the finance with you. It means it is actually very much going to be prove a very much stimulator for expansion of your business. If you want to diversify, if you want to expand your business, these retained earnings plays a very important role. So we can have here some features of retained earning. First is the cushion of securities. It means retained earnings are considered as a cushion of securities because they provide support in time for the adversity when the company finds it difficult to arrange the finance from any other sources. Then this is going to be useful. Next, that is a new and innovative fund for the new and innovative projects, as I have explained you before. Like when and then you need to be expand yourself, these kind of earnings going to play a very important role. You need not to be arrange that funds from the outside sources. Medium and long term finance, with the help of the retained earning, you can actually finance yourself, which is related with the medium term or the long term. Next, conversion to the ownership fund. The surplus retained earning can be converted into the share capital by issue of the bonus shares. This issue of bonus share, there is no outflow of the cash. So investors too are benefited by the issue of the share free of cost. So these are the basic idea about and the feature of the retained earning. Now, the next is the global depository receipt, that is called, which is called the GDR. What do you mean by the GDR? So it is a global depository receipt are issued against the issue of the equity share in the global market. These are indirect equity offerings. The equity share issued against GDR are held by the international bank called depository. Companies issue dividend notice, reports, etc. regarding these shares to the bank only. So these shares are called depository shares. The holder of these shares do not get the voting right also. The capital contributed by these shares is in the dollars. That is why these all are called the dollar dominated instruments. The global depository receipts are introduced by the Citibank in 1990. So it means in this the bank plays a very important role, just like a middleman. It means these are the global depository receipt means you are just offering to the whole world just for taking the or arranging the funds from the outside sources. Here the Citibank was the first who was introduced as a depository. So what are the main features of GDR? Capital collected from the issue of GDR is in the foreign currencies. Also, the issue price of GDR is fixed on the basis of investors' response. No voting right are given to the holder of GDR. GDR is easily transferable by the stock exchange. The first Indian company to issue the GDR was Reliance Industries. It sold 150 million worth of GDR in 1992. So now next is the ADR. It means the American Depository Receipt. So American Depository Receipt is just like a GDR, except that it can be issued to citizens of the USA only, and it can be listed in the US Stock Exchange. Shares issued by the company are held by the international bank called depository, and which receive dividend notice and reports, etc. So ADR is subjected to much stricter disclosure requirement than GDR, because regulation of US stock exchange are very strict. Annual legal and accounting cost of maintaining the ADR are much higher than the GDR. So the ADR is an American dollar dominated instrument. Any American bank functioning as a depository can issue the ADR. It is actually especially for the US. Okay, the GDR is for globally, but the ADR is specially for the US stock exchange. Now, next we proceed to the IDR. What is the meaning of the IDR? IDR is an owner fund long term. You can say that IDR is also like the GDR, except that is it issue the citizen of India, and through IDR foreign companies raise fund from Indian market. So the foreign company IDR will be deposited here in the Indian depository. The depository issue receipt to investor in the India against these shares. So Standard Chartered Bank was the first global company to issue the IDR in the India. So what are the eligibility of the IDR? That is, the issuing company must be listed in the home company and is not prohibited to issue security by any regularly authority. It has net tangible asset at least of the 3 crores of 3 years continuously. It must have the worth of the 1 crore in each preceding 3 years. So this is all the your idea. Now come to the second part, that is the borrowed fund. What are the borrowed fund? Basic are the debenture, loan from the financial institutes, loan from the commercial bank, then the public deposit, then we will move to the trade deposit, then the credit and the inter-corporate deposit. These all are the borrowed fund. Now, what do you mean by the trade credit? The trade credit refer to the arrangement whereby the manufacturer is granted the credit from the supplier of the raw material, input or spare part. The supplier allow their customer to pay their outstanding balances within the credit period. Generally, the duration of the credit are 3 to 6 months. And thus it is the short-term financial facility. The availability of the trade credit depend upon the nature of the firm, then the size of the firm, and the status and the credit worthiness of the firm. Now, next is your that is a public deposit. What do you mean by the public deposits? Public deposits means the public deposit refer to the unsecured deposit invited from the public. A company wishing to invite public deposit places an advertisement in the newspaper. Any member of the public can fill up the prescribed form and deposit money with the company. So what are the features? These are unsecured. The company's mortgage no asset against the public deposit, raises from the general public. Next is the finance of the working capital. The amount raised from the public deposit is generally used by the company for meeting the requirement of the working capital, though they are the primary source of short-term finance, but by reviewing these can be used for the medium term also. Now, time period. The public deposit can be invited by companies for the period of 6 months to the 3 years. So these are all the features of the public deposit. Now moving to the next, that is the debenture or the bonds. What do you mean by the debenture and bonds? The definition of debenture are: it includes a debenture stock, bond, or any other kind of the instrument of the company in evidencing a debt, whether constitute a charge on the asset of the company or not. So debenture are common security used under the borrowed fund capital. Debenture are instrument or raising the long-term debt capital. Debenture are called the creditorship securities because debenture holder are called the creditor of the company. So there are also some features. So we can also have a debenture can be defined as a document or a certificate issued by the company under its seal of the acknowledgement of its debt. So holder of the debenture certificate is called the debenture holder. Now what are the features of your debentures? First is it's a borrowed fund. It means it is a borrowed fund. You are arranging it from the outside sources. Fixed rate of interest. In the debenture, the fixed rate of interest is provided. Next, that is a compulsory payment of interest. It is a charge to the profit. It means it is a liability to pay the interest. Whether you are having the profit or not, but you have to pay the interest at the time. Securities. Most of the time the debenture are issued against the charge for some fixed asset of the company. The fifth one is that is a redeemable. Yes, debenture are redeemable at the stipulated time. So we can say that debenture are always redeemed and paid back on the expiry of the fixed period of the time. And also debenture holder don't have the voting rights. Next, that is the appointment of the trustee. When the large number of the debenture are sold to the general public, then usually the trustee is appointed. Trustee can be the bank or the financial institution. The trustee is appointed to ensure that the borrowing firm fulfill its contractual obligations. So these all are the features of debentures. There are also the type of debenture. These are secured debenture, unsecured debenture, convertible debenture and non-convertible. Secured debenture which are secured under any security or the property of the company. Unsecured, these are the secured debentures. Unsecured which are not secured through any business property of the company. The convertible debenture are those which can be convertible into the equity shareholder after some stipulated time. Non-convertible which can never convert into the equity shareholder. Now come to the next, that is the commercial banks. What are the commercial banks? Because also loan from the financial institution, loan from the commercial bank. We can arrange the loan from the outside. So commercial banks occupy a very important positions as they provide fund to the different purpose and different periods. Firms of all size can approach the commercial banks. Generally, commercial bank provide short-term and medium-term loan, but nowadays they have also started giving the long-term loan against the securities. Now, next is the loan from the financial institution. Just like the loan from the commercial bank, there are also some financial institutions which are also provide the loans. So, public financial institutions are referred to the lending institution. We can say the public financial institutions are referred to as lending institutions, development banks or financial institutions. So after independence, the government of India realized that for economic and development of the country, only the commercial banks are not sufficient. So there must be some financial institutions to provide the financial assistance and guidance to the industries or business enterprises. The need for public financial institution are felt due to there are some reason. Just because of that, the reason fee it means that the commercial banks are not enough. There must be also some financial institution, those who can cater the other businesses. So what are those? It means that benefits of these institutions are long-term finance. You can have finance yourself long-term from these institutions. Managerial advice. These institutions provide the managerial advice as well as the financial advice to the various matters. Also, medium-term and long-term finance. Public financial institutions provide medium and long-term finance to the industrial enterprise at the reasonable rate of interest. That subscribers of securities. Financial institutions often subscribe to the shares and the debenture of the company. So these are, also there is one more point, that the guarantee loan. Financial institutions provide long guarantee to the industries or industrial unit from other bank and financial institutions. So these all are the related, all the information relating that how the long-term financial institution is important and how can you get the loan from them. Now come to the intercorporate deposit, which is called the ICD. This is also the source of borrowed form. It is a deposit made by one company with another company. It means there is no bank, there is no financial institution. There is basically the two, you can say the two companies which are doing in between all these things. It means in the it is a deposit made by one company with another company. This opinion of using the finance is available to all public companies, whether having share capital or not. It includes when the company acquires security to the other company, when the company gives loan to the other company, when the company gives guarantee to any person or institution who provide loan to another company. In general, we can say that when company arrange funds from the another company, it is known as the intercorporate deposit. Now, there are three types of intercorporate deposit. First is the 3 months deposit. This is the most common deposit to overcome the short-term finance problem. The annual rate of interest given for 3 months deposit is 12%. 6 months deposit, it is made with the first class borrowers. The annual interest rate is 15%. Next is the call deposit. So this can be withdrawn by the lender by giving 1 day notice only, and the rate of the interest is 10%. So these are related with the borrowed fund. We have just discussed it. Now moving to the next part, that is the factor kept in mind before selecting the business finance. So we have the different kinds. We have a lot of ways and means we can arrange our fund with the owners as well as from the outside security, which is called the borrowed fund. But we must also think before raising the finance, because there are some plus and minus points which we must have to take in mind, that we must have to gather all those funds which are giving more benefits to us as compared to the or you can say which have more plus and less. You will prefer those factors. Now come to the point, that is the no source of business finance is free from limitation. So we cannot say which is the best source of the finance. So before deciding the sources of finance to meet the financial requirement, the businessman must keep in mind before selecting the source of finance. First point is the cost involved. So first is for cost involved, then the financial capacity of the form of the business organization, the time period, risk involved, control, flexibility, then claim over the asset and the tax benefit. These are some points you must be kept in mind before selecting the finance. Now first is the cost involved. So before finalizing any source of finance, the company must find out the cost involved in the procurement of the funds and cost involved in using the fund. Both of the costs must be less than the benefit which they get using the sources of funds. Second one is the financial capacity of the firm. If the company has a financially sound, then it may prefer the borrowed fund as it will be able to repay the borrowed fund and can easily pay the interest amount. But if the company is not financially stable, then it must depend upon the owner's fund only. Now next, the form of the business organization. The sole proprietor fund and the partnership fund cannot raise fund by using the shares and debentures. They have to depend upon the factoring, leasing, trade credit, etc. Whereas for the joint stock company, they must be preferred to issue the shares and debentures. Now come to the next, that is the time period. Now another factor which helps in deciding the sources of the fund is the duration of which the firm required fund. So the firm required the fund. As far as the short period funds are the trade credit, factoring, short-term loan, etc. And for the long-term, debenture and shares are the best sources. Now next is the risk involved. So it means before selecting the finance, before selecting the source of finance, you also calculate how much risk is involved. which you are going to make it or raising the fund. So the owner fund security involve more risk, whereas the borrowed fund security are risky security. If the business firm can bear the risk, then only it should go for the borrowed fund, and otherwise it should prefer the owner's fund security. Next is the control. The equity shareholder considered as an real owner of the business, and they have the complete control over the business. So if existing equity shareholder do not want to lose the control, then they must not issue more equity shares to reuse the additional capital, as it may result in the dilution of the control. That next one is the flexibility. Sometimes the financial institution which provide long-term debt of the company put certain restriction of the companies which restrict the flexibility of the company. So if other options are easily available, then firm do not prefer loan from the financial institution and bank which put the restrictions. Next is the claim over the assets. So some sources of finance mortgage the asset of the firm and reduce the credit worthiness, and for example the debentures, secure loan, etc. So whereas some sources such as the shares and unsecured loan, etc. do not put the claim over the asset, hence result in no reduction in the credit worthiness. Last but not the least, that is the tax benefit. So interest on debenture loan is deducted from the total income of the company before calculating the income tax, whereas the dividend paid to the equity shareholder is not deducted from the total income. So if the firm wants to get tax benefit, it must issue the debenture, preference shares, loans and the public deposits. So it means these are the very crucial points while deciding what source of the or the factors are more important for selecting that these are the best for you. These all are the points, like how much cost is involved. You must have to see what kind of the tax benefit you will require if you will have in the debenture or if you will have in the share capital with you. So these all are the points when you are going to decide the factor of financing. I think it is enough for today. So we will definitely meet in the next lecture. Thank you.